Okay, I do want to just go ahead and elaborate on what I'm capturing images of. Remember, the demon possessed are engaged in monitoring with communication devices. The demon possessed are engaging in what is a demonic system that is targeting an American citizen, and it's criminal. So, what I took images of, and all of this, you know that this is demonic because I'm showing you what's the environment, which is a phenomenon. It defies nature, it defies that which has been defined to us or explained to us as to how the natural environment works. And I'm showing you that this is in no way even remotely similar to the operation of the so-called natural environment. I'm revealing to you what is the demonic. This demonic environment is present because a criminal system is underway and the demon possessed are engaging in this so-called secret system. And this is a secret society. And while the secret society is being exposed, you are witnessing literally they're mentally breaking down. I mean, in helicopters, demons are flying in circles over me, wanting to distract, but it's not a distraction. It's more evidence to be used against the people of the state. It is literally providing more, punctuation, confirmation, not that I need it. I have a full state case against the people of the state, against the state of California, but it's not a coincidence. And I will document and capture that video while that same entity flies over in circles and engages in more of the same, while I happen to be documenting that entity engaged in an ongoing pattern of conduct. So, like I said, those are psychopaths. So these are the demon-possessed psychopaths that are terrorists and sex offenders. And while they're listening to the truth be spoken about them based on what they have been doing, and they are incapable of facing the reality of what are the consequences, which perhaps they never fathomed. That is not the targeted individual's problem. It is a threat to their life, however, and that's a problem that's unlawful. Okay, and the government is going to compensate. Understand, the people of the state are the government. The federal group stalking and monitoring is operated by the government. The public entity is maliciously using the people of the state who are supposed to appear. This is malice to be in the same to be similarly situated as the targeted individual, but they're not. They're in the specific environment because they're stalking, and they're stalking vicariously on behalf of a government who is documented engaging in a pattern of stalking in that specific environment, and the people of the state are in that same exact in that same environment and maintaining that environment, not coincidentally, engaging in an identical behavioral pattern, not coincidentally. All right, because they're vicariously acting on behalf of that entity. So with regard to understanding demons and how this demonic system, criminal monitoring, federal group stalking monitoring is occurring, not only am I capturing images, so literally while I'm documenting, Ahmed Modest is going to federal prison. He was in relevant position, creating light activity, standing in my face, communicating a threat by virtue of presence in the environment. Everything that he's talking about is audible activity. This is in other words, the demon-possessed entity, that is the government that's maintaining presence vicariously through Ahmed Modest going by Kalia. That's how I was referencing him. He likes to go by Kalia. His name is Ahmed Modest. And he is group stalking by coming to my office and asking me about rent. This is relevant to what is terrorism and sexual violence that I'm subject to in the workplace. That's relevant because Todd Speaker is going to be prosecuted as well. While I'm documenting this is what I'm taking an image of, and that's the significance. So I'm taking at 10:44, I'm writing this down. Okay, the entity with simultaneity to that, while I'm literally writing down my documentation, starts sounding helicopter activity. The demon possessed engage in a pattern of threatening you while you document the people of the state or the state. Again, the entity, the demon-possessed entity, and the public entity is incapable of protecting. It is incriminating the people of the state. So while you document the people of the state, they will sit in federal prison longer. Okay, so that's what I'm documenting. And as I documented this and took a picture of it with simultaneity, the entity, again, that's the demonic behavioral pattern. The entity will repeat that conduct that you document. It is all the elements of monitoring. You are witnessing what are psychopaths. The demon-possessed are psychopaths, mentally unstable psychopaths who are learning that they are also sex offenders. And I don't want to mean learning, actually. They're not learning. They're being caught while they are in every way intend to offend you and violate your person. The demon-possessed thought that they could do it and think that you're never going to be able to prove it, that think that there are no laws that can even address it, that they can just violate your person, that they can monitor you in a private space, that they can be aware and monitor you while your panties are down, and that nobody's ever going to know about it. That's a violent sex offender, a delusional, psychotic one, okay? Very sexually violent conduct. So that's the malice behind the pattern of conduct. And while I'm documenting this, the entity again repeats that conduct, which are all the same elements of monitoring, understand. But I want you to not only understand what is the criminal system of federal group stalking and monitoring, I want you to understand the demented person that is behind that pattern of conduct. And the entity repeats, that's a threat. Well, you hear helicopter activity as a means of monitoring you, that's the entity that's threatening you. And the entity repeats that that threat after I document the fact that that's an act of obstruction of justice, while I document the people of the state who are monitoring me vicariously on behalf of that state, and that state wants to use helicopter activity to communicate a threat to me. It repeats it moments later after I write that note and take a picture of it. They're monitoring on my phone as well. So this is what I'm speaking about, the significance of those images, and it is going toward the term in federal prison that Ahmed Modest is going to face. It's not just Ahmed. I'm documenting these are my scratch notes. I'm going to write it out. But Mion Clemens, James Jung, Klum Lee, Vanessa Drees, Kalia Modest. Now, Vanessa Drees is not captured in this video documentation where LAPD is group stalking, but Vanessa Drees is engaged in the pattern of conduct, a sex offender molesting me with engineered light, an impossible occurrence. That's a sex offender going out of their way to molest your person while they're stalking you on behalf of a government that's already terrorizing. All right, this is a demon that is pursuing you, and then that demon wants to reach out and touch you in a way that's not even natural. So you're going, wow, you're going all out of your way to touch my body. That's a very weird sex offender. Okay, and the entity is doing in the video captured at, I believe, is 9:20 a.m. The 9:20 a.m. video, you're looking at LAPD flying in circles in relevant position, amplifying helicopter activity, engaging in an all-out act of terrorism, while I am documenting the people of the state who are in the path, and that's what you see on video. And they are going to federal prison for longer while the entity seeks to continuously threaten me because I'm documenting them. Understand, they are the people of the state who are maintaining presence vicariously on behalf of the state. So while you document those who are indeed group stalkers acting directly on behalf of the entity, don't forget, Mion Clemens represents the entity. But since Mion Clemens is in my face, wanted to group stalk and threaten on behalf of LAPD, and you enforce your rights and document that, the entity is then acting directly to threaten you through these demon-possessed law enforcement agencies. Okay, Mion Clemens is going to sit in federal prison longer. They're monitoring and group stalking and targeting together. The entity is under the false illusion that you will threaten someone out of enforcing their rights, that you will intimidate and terrorize them out of enforcing your rights. And the entity engages in a pattern of this, and this is also shown through the mental disturbance, that pattern of conduct, engaging in that's showing what's a sexually violent, terrorizing psychopath. I'm not just name calling. Any other prosecution of somebody that is stalking you, that is showing an ongoing persistence to do so after you have, for example, filed for a restraining order, for example, in the superior court, and then you present to that judge who's giving you justice, protecting your interests from that stalker, and you providing evidence, well, Your Honor, they're continuously stalking. They are actually entering into my apartment at nightfall. They are continuously engaging in what is trying to stand outside of my, maintain presence outside while I'm inside of my restroom, while I'm undressing, Your Honor. They are in every way engaging in more of that sexual violence, invading my privacy, and touching on my person, even though I have initiated what is the legal proceedings against them and sought to enforce my rights in the ways that I can. For instance, seeking a restraining order. This is something that any other court would address that stalker. They would be subject to what is necessary. Their mind state is necessarily brought into question, and that's reasonably based under the facts. What they are doing. I am not name calling. The entity is engaged in a pattern of conduct. The entity is stalking you. The entity is engaging in what are satanic, ritualistic methods of stalking you. That's relevant for terrorism. So this isn't not just a stalker. It's a government by virtue of the identity of that. That's terrorism. The government is terrorizing you and then employing demonic methods to do so. That's terrorism. The entity engages in then trying to threaten you through those same elements of monitoring, using demons that are driving fire trucks and police vehicles and ambulances in order to engage in criminal facilitation, monitoring with those who are in that specific environment, which, by the way, is terrorism. Engaging in that which is a pattern of conduct which is ordinarily beyond what somebody can even articulate or describe or understand. Inherently something that will baffle you, confuse you, inherently scary, terrorizing. That's terrorism. And then that sex offender wants to touch you with their demonic behavior. And then the entity wants to threaten you while you document the fact that they are engaging in what is highly demented and what is ongoing stalking. That's a psychopath. That's how you analyze it, and that's how you're going to analyze the state. It's what they're doing. You are letting the law follow the criminal acts. All right? That's exactly what you're doing. That's what the entity is doing. That's exactly how you're going to prosecute, because that's what they're doing. This is not name calling. All right. So anybody having a fundamental understanding of how the law operates and how you would prosecute under any other matter with regard to a stalker, the government is no ordinary stalker. Oh, that's no ordinary stalker. So you're talking about, oh, this is larger territory. You're talking federal prison. You're talking about federal prison for a long time. You're talking about those who are in positions of government clearly clearly having no place to be there. Oh no, they don't belong there. All of that is being simultaneously handled while you expose and prosecute, though. Okay. Anyway, it's currently 11:01 a.m. and I just wanted to expound on the significance of the images that I captured. I'm going to identify these actors because I want to make sure that the federal government understands I am not just naming it in the video. They are going to federal prison. It's a matter of justice. This is how the system operates, and the entity thinks that it can threaten you more, or that it's going to get away with threatening more. No. And it's going directly to understand the people of the state. This is the vicarious arm. You're going to break that vicarious arm off. You want to act through the people of the state. The people of the state are going to suffer under the law. It's justice. It's P.O.C. Let me show you the light source that remains while the entity is engaging in that act of obstruction of justice. Right here at Alvarado Gardens, where there would be no sun present under any circumstances. All right, and that means there's no sunlight over the property either. And you already know that the entity is maintaining the light source till the end of the day. That's not only putting the moon in alignment to me, as you saw it over building 1818 at nightfall, but also setting this light source over in alignment to me. That is documentation showing what the LAPD are. Those are demons, and they're engaged in ongoing terrorism while they are stalking someone, and their secret society that they are engaging in with the people of the state is fully exposed. And you see how they literally are mentally breaking down while they're stalking and monitoring in a helicopter in an entirely cartoon environment, because there's nothing natural about it. This is P.O.C. It's currently 11:03 a.m.